Hey everybody, I'm Samantha Snyder and I'm so excited to welcome you to my School of Fiddling. I have been playing violin/fiddle now for 19 years, and it has been one of the most important components of my life, has made such a huge impact on me and has really brought me so much joy, so much development in so many areas of my life. And I'm excited to bring that same experience to all of you guys. I first started violin lessons when I was 3 years old in a classical method that really believes in training people from a young age. And that has really influenced how I see learning how to play now. It really doesn't matter what age you are. As long as you have the right training from the beginning, you can pick up an instrument like the fiddle, which looks very complicated and is in some ways complicated, and really thrive with it. I've had a diverse range of experiences as a musician. I started out in classical, like I said, and did that for about 4 years, and then switched over to more of the folk side of acoustic music. So it was mainly focused in bluegrass and old time, with a little bit of Irish sprinkled in. And ever since then, I've really mixed in whatever genre I felt like mixing in, because I listen to a broad variety of different genres. So I'm confident that I can help you wherever you're at and whatever you're wanting out of your experience as a violinist/fiddler. I've been teaching for several years now, and something I noticed both as a fiddle student and as a fiddle teacher was that documentation of what you're learning during the lesson time is kind of a hard thing to pin down. No matter who the teacher is, there's a lot of information and a lot of sounds that it's hard to keep in your brain afterwards when you're going back to review and practice throughout the week before your next lesson. So with that in mind, when I started teaching, when I was on Skype, I would take videos during the lesson time of the most important points and then send them to my students afterwards. The problem with that and with other documentation methods for lessons is that it's kind of clumsy. We have to sort of stop in the middle of the lesson, and the files themselves were pretty difficult to deal with because they were large video files, and so sending them was always tricky. So it occurred to me, since most of the teaching is centered on videos anyway, why not transfer all of my information that I've been teaching my students live all this time to video form? And then they can learn it whenever, however, and at what pace they want to learn. On my Patreon School of Fiddling, you have 3 options. You can either, just as a casual music fan, subscribe to the lowest tier and get some cool behind-the-scenes information. You can read more about that in the breakdown of the tiers. The middle tier is the beginner fiddle package, which will really take you pretty far. It gets you started, it tells you all the information you need to know on how to get started and makes it not so overwhelming. I really break it down for you, and I also make sure that I speak to all the parents who might be assisting their young children in starting this process. Then after we have those basics of how to even play this thing down, I walk you through an entire catalog of essential fiddle tunes, the ones that you're going to hear at all the festivals, you're going to play in the jam sessions, and that are really fun to just play on your back porch or in your living room. I also cover how to do rhythm on fiddle, the basics of how to do rhythm, which is chopping. Also part of that tier is that you will be able to have video feedback from me, so you can send in you know, a song of your choice that you've been working on, and I can tell you how you're doing and things that you can adjust about your posture. That's really helpful and important to have that feedback, especially at the beginning when you're developing these habits. There are some other details to that tier, and you can read about them in the breakdown. But there's also a third tier for intermediate and advanced students. A lot of people in that range are really eager to learn how to improvise. It's sort of the next big hurdle that they have to get over. Or it feels like a big hurdle, to sort of bump up to the next level as musicians. Being able to improvise will allow them to be in jam sessions and to create their own music and just sort of build this really personal relationship with their musicianship. It's tricky to know where to start when you want to learn how to improvise, and so I really break that down for you and teach you ways to stay inspired, you know, and kind of help you not plateau or get stuck in a rut. I really want you to stay passionate about what you're doing and not get bogged down in sort of not knowing where to go next, because I definitely experienced that as a fiddle student myself many times over the years, and so I've learned ways to get past that and ways to avoid it. and ways to stay in love with what you're doing. A big component of being at the intermediate and advanced stage of fiddling is that you want to start learning how to teach yourself, because that's really what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life as a musician. Musicians never stop learning, which is one of the beautiful things about the occupation. So I'll kind of show you how to find your interests and, like I said, develop a personal spiritual relationship with your music. It's really important that you connect with it. That's what music is all about. And so I really want to encourage that in you. With that in mind, I'm offering one-to-one Skype lessons with you guys. That will be monthly for an hour, and we'll just kind of tune in and see what you need if you have any specific questions. And I can give you some more advanced kind of crazy things to work with. We can break down songs from some of our favorite fiddlers or guitarists or anything. We'll get into that. There are a lot of different ways to gain inspiration as a fiddler. I also teach you how to take yourself to the next level as a rhythm player. A lot of people don't realize that you can do a lot rhythmically on the violin. It seems like a lead instrument only, but that is not true. You can do a lot to support your fellow bandmates on the fiddle. Also, at this point, you're probably really wanting to perform, and you're probably having opportunities come up to get on stage and share your talents. And I will show you how to be a good performer. I'll give you tips and tricks and what I've learned over the years, being on stage for 15 years now. And I think what I have to tell you, it'll help you be your most authentic self on stage, your most comfortable and your most captivating self to the audience. Also, as a bonus in this tier, I am adding what I've learned about songwriting and some tips and tricks that I can give you for songwriting. I've been doing that since I was a kid, and I've really fallen in love with the art. It's one of my favorite things about being a musician, and so I would love to help you get started doing that. So like I said, there's more in the breakdown if you want to look at the different tiers and what they offer, but I think there's something for everybody here. If you have any questions, reach out to me on my Facebook page, and we can sort of talk about the details. But hopefully what I've provided here on Patreon will let you know pretty much everything you need to know. Like I said earlier, everyone of every age and every background is welcome here. So rosin up your bow and let's get started.